I became a trustee of Home-Start because being a primary 2 teacher, I work in the early years and I can see firsthand the effect which a good grounding has for children on their educational outcomes and their attainment later in life. The role of education in the early years and the role of a supportive family in the early years is really fundamental to the success of a child. So, I mean, your birth to 3 years, they're your formative years, and that's where you tend to form the basis of how well you're then going to do later in life. And I think having that knowledge of how important those years are really highlights how important the work of Home-Start is, because without that basis, without that foundation, children then don't have very much to build on. So I think Home-Start does a fantastic job in trying to really support parents at that early stage, at that crucial stage, and providing support through volunteer visits and groups which they run at the centre, and also providing parental support as well, because it's difficult being a parent. You know, nobody knows if they're doing things right all the time, and I think that those formative years are really, really important, particularly in regards to education and emotional development. So that's, you know, why I was quite interested in the work of Home-Start. I enjoy my role as well because it means that I'm a bit more involved in the sort of community and area which I'm working in, and I feel that I'm able to share my knowledge from my kind of field of work with other people which might help children and families in the local area. It's very much, it's almost kind of like a family, I feel, especially this branch of Home-Start, because it's not a huge staff team, everyone knows each other quite well. The board are all, you know, we all kind of work really well together as well, and I think Home-Start is just about providing opportunities and providing access for families and providing support for families who otherwise wouldn't necessarily receive it through your kind of governmental organisations. And, you know, quite often there's families who require support and need support, but they don't fulfil the criteria to receive it. And I think Home-Start does a fantastic job at actually picking up those loose ends and supporting those families that wouldn't normally necessarily receive the help that they need. I think what makes a good trustee is someone who is good at listening, is able to reason and voice their opinion, someone who's able to share their opinion in a sort of understanding way, someone who will participate willingly as well in discussions, and someone who possibly has knowledge and expertise in different roles which would all kind of group together to create a good sound board which has got skills from all sort of walks of life and all sectors as well. I would say to other young people who are thinking about being a trustee is that they should definitely just go and try it out and see, because I know that even just from when I was at university that there were lots of people who were involved in charities there, and I can think of lots of people who would make excellent trustees just now through their experiences which they've developed, maybe through their work or through university or clubs which they've participated in or helped at as well. And I think it's beneficial as well to have a younger opinion sometimes, because you might have thought of something different, or you might have a different experience, or you might have slightly more knowledge about something like surrounding social media policies and things like that. You might be slightly more up to date on certain things than other people maybe would be in the board. So I think it's really helpful to have a younger person on the board as well. I think the things which I enjoy, which I wasn't necessarily expecting, was actually that your voice is actually quite important in the board. I think originally I hadn't necessarily thought about the role of a board of a charity as much. I didn't really know necessarily how it worked and things, but actually a lot of decisions are made by the board. So there, you know, a decision or a question may be raised within the staff, and then it has to come to the board to be discussed. And that's something which I hadn't thought of before. I didn't really necessarily know that that's how charities worked. And I quite enjoy being involved in the decision-making process for different things which affect the charity. It's a chance to socialise with other people and to also work together for something which, you know, helps other people as well. I think if someone was thinking about being a trustee and they weren't sure if it was really for them, or they didn't think they had the right skill set or the right experience, I think Home-Start's very welcoming to everybody, and that includes trustees. So I think if you weren't sure, I would say go along, have a wee go and see how you get on, and then take it from there. I think don't be put off by it because you're young.